Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Monday night live stream. How's everybody? Hope you had a fab weekend, and I hope you managed to get a little bit of hobby done, a little bit of maybe a bit of painting, a little bit of gaming, maybe a bit of shopping. Who knows? No doubt we'll be having a chat about it tonight. So tonight's topic, we are talking about solo games, better board games, card games, miniatures games, war games. Whatever the case may be, that's the topic for this evening. Now we've got a few people already in the chat tonight, which is all good. So we'll say hello to them. We had Peter was in about 6 o'clock, I think it was. So yeah, it was good to see him in nice and early, and he asked if he was the first. He was. And then we've had a bit of a flurry in the last 5 minutes of people coming pouring in. We've got Mark Berracloth coming. Good evening, Mark. Hope you're well, my friend. We've got Flying Mammals coming. Good evening, young lady. Hope you're very well. Christian Reeves says, good evening, guys and gals. Evening, Christian. I assume it's a sword for one of your, what are they called again? Plague. I'm looking at them and I can't even think what they're called now. The Death God kind of plague warrior type things, whatever they're called. I'm assuming the sword's for one of them, mate. It looks excellent. Anybody wanting to see it, it's on the Facebook group, so go and check that one out. We've got D. Anthony Robinson giving us a wave there. Evening, buddy. Hope you're well. We've got Steve Evans sneaking in there just before 9 o'clock. Says evening all. Good evening, Steve. We've got Blank Shot Gaming in. Says hello, Andy. I'm not sure if we've chatted before or not, Blank Shot, but good evening. Welcome to the live chat. If we've not chatted before, welcome. Hope you have a good evening. If we have, I apologise. I obviously see a few bits of names coming through, and yours isn't one that I recognise. So good evening. Let me know if this is your first time here. We've got Matt Mountain in, the legend. That is Matt Mountain. What's happening, BlackJack? It says, hope you're all well. Time to get some painting done. Hashtag Mantic Monday. So it's Matt Mountain's Mantic Mondays, as always. What you painting tonight, buddy? I did say you got your Dwarf Vanguard Warband, I think it is. I think that's what you're painting this evening. We've got Thomas C in, said evening all. Evening, Thomas C. Hope you're well. We've got another new face in as well. Miniature Adventures, says evening, Andy. I don't think we've spoken before either, buddy. So please let me know down in the comments. If this is your first time here, let me know where you're from. Tell me a little bit about what you're up to this evening. And where did you find the channel? That's always quite nice to know as well. So thanks for tuning in. We've got Chris in as well. Says good evening all. Evening, Chris. Hope you're well, buddy. We've also got Green Tree. Says hello, peoples. Evening, Green Tree. D. Anthony saying glad to finally catch the show live. Of course, not glad that I'm homesick from work to do it. Far be it from me to wish illness on you or whatever the case may be to get you keep you at home today. But thank you for tuning in, buddy. Nice to have you in the chat. Skullmunch says evening, chappy. Evening, Skullmunch. Hope you're well, Sean. He says painting some walkers. Oh, sorry, painting some Walking Dead this evening. Nice to see a bit of Walking Dead love going on there. Nice. We've got Jack in as well from Shaggy Wargaming. It says, hello, Andy. Hello, Andy. Hello, Jack. Hello, Jack. How you doing? Flying Mammal says, solo games, Onirim or Friday, painting with the munch, so may not chat much. Who's more important, like, me or the munch? Get your chat on. What you painting? Let me know what you're painting. We've got Justin Gregory. He says, evening, guys. Another new name as well. I don't think we've chatted before. Justin, welcome to the live chat. Tell me where you're from. Always good to see some new faces in here. Throat Sores in as well. It says, ooh, a late Happy New Year. Are we still allowed to say Happy New Year this late? Well, I mean, what's the date today? Is it the 21st or something, is it? 21st of January. I think to be honest, we're probably closer to saying Merry Christmas now, I think, aren't we, for this year? I was going to say for next year, but it's this year. So yeah, welcome. So I'll try and keep up with the chat and see a lot of people as they're coming in. We've got a few. Look, this is how organised I am tonight. Look, notes, proper notes and everything. I'm right on my game tonight. So what have we got chatting about tonight? We've got solo games to chat about tonight. I also wanted to give the I always say tabletop, Top Table Legacy Weekender event. So for those that don't know about it, it is March the 22nd to March the 24th. That's the Friday, Saturday and Sunday. It's at Element Games in Stockport in Manchester. I know there's a few of you in the chat who are already got your tickets. You're already going. There's myself and there's Jay and Steve from the Top Table Gaming channel. we are hosting a very social gaming weekender. And we've got, I think there's about 6 or 7 events already booked up. So there is, let me think off the top of my head now, there's a 2-day Hobbit event. There is a Walking Dead event just been announced. There's a Vanguard event, a Kings of War Vanguard event just been announced as well. They're 1-day events. There is a Drowned Earth sort of campaign day that's being run by the Drowned Earth creator himself. There is also, oh, my memory's pulling out. I think, pretty sure we've got the Kill Team one announced now as well. If not, I might have just let that one out of the bag. We do have a Kill Team event as well. We've got Kev Lawrence there as well, doing some painting demos for the weekend. We've got Luke from Luke's APS there, who is actually now, he's changed what he's going to do. He is actually going to build a board live over the weekend. So you can come and see him at work, come and ask him some questions, watch how he does it. Might even be able to get involved and give him a hand, who knows. But that sounds pretty cool. We've got some, we've got like board game, and there's a board game library, so you can just drop in and just get some board games out and sort of roll some dice and have a few board games with some new friends. You can bring some along your own stuff if you want to and arrange games in advance. There is a live stream on the Friday night where myself and I think Luke's going to get involved as well in the top table guys. We're going to be doing some Q&As and doing a live stream. There's a quiz on the Saturday night as well. I've probably missed out hundreds of things. Oh, there's a goodie bag, so you'll probably get back more than the £25 that a ticket costs for the full weekend. Includes entry to all of your events. There's a goodie bag that you'll get back more than your money's worth back in the goodie bag. And is there anything else I've missed? There's loads of stuff going on. Check out Top Table Legacy Weekend on Facebook. All the information's on there. You can pay through PayPal as well. £25 secures your ticket. Looking forward to seeing some of you there that weekend. I've purposefully organised my weekend that weekend so that I'm not involved in any of the events. I'm not running them. I'm not doing any of the TOs. I've got people to help out and do that for me so I can spend the weekend playing games with you folks that come along. We've got, what else we got? Steve Evans is saying he's painting some more Kings of War Nature. Up to 2,000 points now. Nicely done, buddy. Nicely done. Tony Booth's in as well. He says, hey up, buddy. Throat Sauce says, hurrah, Merry Christmas. Chris is also painting up some walkers this evening. He says he's finished painting Loose Eel earlier. I'll post it on the page. Please do, mate. Thomas, oh, excuse me, I've frog in my throat there. Thomas C says, painting yellow shields tonight. Ah, I don't mind painting yellow, actually. I think I've just been writing down some future videos, and one of them will be about painting yellow. Excuse me. Ruth is saying, haha, I'm painting Harry Potter spiders, so don't just chuck the game away, sad face. Merry Christmas. Christian says, I may have just ordered a couple of Drowned Earth factions for that weekend. Nice going, mate, nice going. Ruth says, a cosplay competition, wink face. I think we could. I'd be happy to have a cosplay competition. I think you might win it, but then no reason not to do it then, isn't there? Jack says, yeah, Andy masks and tartan shirts. Right, all right. Let's not start that one again. We've got Peter Nicholas in, says, hello Andy, hello everyone. Evening Peter, nice to see you again, buddy. We've got Brian saying in, it says, sup Andy, nice to see you Brian, welcome to the live stream, always good to have you in, my friend. We've got Michael in as well, says, hello all you boys and girls. Good evening Michael, I hope you're well mate. We've got Tiberius has just snuck in there as well, says, hiya, evening buddy. Matt says, not painting the dwarfs yet, trying to be good and finish my Night Stalkers. When have any of us ever been good and done what we said we would do when it comes to this hobby? Thomas is saying he's looking forward to painting yellow vid. Yes, it'll be a kind of a trick way to paint yellow, so you don't have to kind of do 25 layers. So yeah, watch out for that one. I'm just looking at my chart now. How many weeks away is it? It's probably it's probably 2 weeks on Friday. You'll probably see it. We've got Malkavian in. Good evening, Michael, mate. How are you doing? He says, I can't stick around, I'm afraid, but we'll catch up with you in the chat later. I'll catch up with the chat later, I promise. Always good to have you in, buddy. Thanks very much for popping in. And we've got Darren Whitehouse has just come in as well. Says, good evening, Andy. Hi, everyone. Good evening, mate. We've got Phil's just stuck in as well. Says, bonjour. Bonjour to you too, Phil. And Throat Sauce says he's painting Scent Cannon, the Kings of Wars. Painting, is that Scent Cannon? Or painting a cannon? The cannon? Kings of War Siege anyway. Michael says you won't be here long, got stuff to do. Appreciate you popping in anyway, buddy. Always good to have you here. And it's nice for you to pop in and say hello. We've got a nice little crowd in this evening, haven't we? Just looking at the numbers there. Normally I've got a screen in front of me over here with everything on, but I haven't. I'm trying to keep my workspace nice and tidy, so I've just got my laptop with a chat on tonight instead. Where are we at? Brian says I'm more Ventru. Did I miss that there? Did I? Ventura? Don't know what that means, Brian. Maybe it's just my naivety, buddy. Thomas is saying sounds good. And Brian, we got Brian Sean in as well. Oh, that's it. Says enjoying your painting videos. Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate that. I've always been a bit nervous about doing painting videos, if I'm honest, because I think like most people, you're always very critical of your own work. So when I've painted my stuff, I might sit there and think, it's all right actually, but then I'm always conscious that it doesn't look as good as some other people's, or there are much better painters out there. But over time, kind of people have said that there aren't any videos just aimed at kind of beginners or people wanting to do a relatively quick job. The painting videos that are out there, and there are some fantastic painting videos. Matt's done some amazing painting videos, and my painting is not at the levels of Matt's by any stretch. However, mine are designed to be very quick and aimed at new painters or people getting started. So yeah, I appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. Let's have a look. Throat Sauce saying, sorry, some cannons. That's what I thought you said. Brian saying he loved Dark Ages, playing Adventure Blood Knight. He's saying, I've just seen that it's a Vampire Masquerade reference. Apologies, I'm not up on a Vampire Masquerade. Tony is saying he's trying to get his head around putting together a kill team from the Conquest Plague models. Well, to be honest, mate, I've been putting together a kill team from the Dark Vengeance box, which is basically pretty much kind of a mixture of stuff that I've been getting in the Conquest. So I've got a few, what are they called again? Plague Marines, that's the word I was looking for earlier. So I've been doing a few Plague Marines. I've got another video coming up in a few weeks' time, which is the Poxwalkers as well. So watch out for that in about 3 weeks' time. I think that one is for the Poxwalkers. Yeah, so I'm doing the same, mate, as well. Where we're seeing, we've got a few more bit more chat there about Vampire Masquerade. Oh, I say Malkavian was a clan of vampires. Now I know where the name Malkavian comes from then. Thank you for that, Brian. Michael is saying, as long as it isn't the organ gun you're using in game. We've got Stephen from Steve's Small World. Good evening, Steve. How are you, mate? I hope you're very well. He says, hi all. Chris is saying, that's why I started doing my painting videos aimed at beginners using simple techniques to give a good standard. Yeah, I mean, I must admit the last one I did, which was the Negan one, is disappointed the right word? I was a little disappointed about how it looked on camera, actually, because when you do those really super sort of zoomed in close-ups with the camera, it lets people see what you're doing, but it makes the miniature look a lot worse. I mean, I've got it, I can kind of see it from here, and actually from kind of arm's length, or just kind of, you know, like from here kind of thing, it looks really, really good. It's just that when you zoom in super close, the facial features on the model are a little soft, I would say, so some of the washes don't necessarily kind of pick up in the shadows, but I'm really happy with how it looks in the flesh. Tiberius is saying he's been bitten by the undead bug doing those 10 skeleton warriors. I used to play vampire accounts, so this could be dangerous. This is the whole point of the painting challenges every month. Is sometimes if you're in a bit of a lull, paint something different, and it will kick you off into doing something else, or kick you off into getting painting again. So for anybody wanting a bit of a challenge or a bit of a sort of motivation, get involved with the monthly painting challenges over on the Facebook group. Throat Sauce saying, Harlequin kill team for me, hopefully first game this week. Let me know how it goes, mate. Be interested to find out. Brian saying he played Vampire Counts back in 5th and 6th. Love the Vampire Counts. Yeah, I never played Warhammer Fantasy, but if I had played, Vampire Counts would have been my army. I did actually pick up a load of Mantic. Actually, I think that was how I first found about Mantic. I picked up loads of Mantic zombies and skeletons with the intention of building a vampire count army at one point in time. But yeah, I got sidetracked and actually got more interested looking at Kings of War at that point in time. And we've also got Adam. We've got Brian is saying, I want to play a kill team. Have they ended the starter box? From what I hear, Brian, they sold out because they sold way more than they ever expected to. They did they managed to get a few more, and they pretty much only sold them through GW stores and on their own website. And a lot of the kind of main stores were a little bit peeved that they hadn't gotten a restock. And then from what I understand, it's out of stock on their website again. So maybe there's a new kill team box coming. Maybe people are just buying them in order to get some cheap terrain and selling off the miniatures and the rules. But it looks like maybe it's not going to be around a little while. However, you can still get a really pretty decent deal. Just pick up the rule book, maybe pick up one of those kill zones. It's not a bad way to get into it as well. Adam Eggers in as well, says, morning everyone. Good morning, Adam. Hope you're well, mate. I hope the result last night didn't sour things too much for you. But yeah, good to have you in, mate. Thomas is saying to Brian there, I think the Kill Team Arena is replacing the original box, but not entirely sure. Bit confused by it myself. Yeah, I think it's Kill Team Arena. You still need the core rules to play it, and I don't think the core rules are in the box. So I'm not sure if it's replacing it as a starter set. Throat Sauce saying I saw BlackJack as a necromancer. Good. Yeah, I think I quite like my kind of. I think I've mentioned a few times. I do love horror films and horror stories and stuff like that. So vampires and werewolves and skeletons and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, right up my street. Peter Nicholas is saying with different armies. Yeah, from what I've seen, Peter, the Kill Team Arena box comes with Space Marines, which were painted up as Ultramarines in the version I saw, and I think it was Necron Warriors, not Necron Warriors, Necron Immortals, I think it was. So my assumption is that's what's in the box, and that they didn't just use them for the photo shoot. Tiberius is saying fancy doing a kill team with Marine Scouts because nobody gave them love anymore. I've got 2 Marine Scouts in my Ultramarines kill team, just to make the point up, to be honest. And Thomas says thank you for the clarification. Right, we have been rambling a little bit there. So how we're doing for time? We're about 15 minutes in. Let's get started on the solo games topic. Now I'm conscious that last week I didn't really get to talk much about what the main topic was, so I want to spend quite a bit of time tonight talking about solo games. I've put a bit more work in and done a bit more research. A lot of you folks managed to put into the Facebook group what solo games you enjoyed playing. Malkavian, Michael made a point as well, and I won't start with that point, but I will come on to it at some point because I think it's a really good point. So Tiberius, who's in the chat tonight, mentioned he'd seen a book once which had solo rules for Magic the Gathering. I'd be interested to see what you think about that, Tiberius. Did you ever read it? Did you ever buy it? Because Magic the Gathering is not something I would think naturally kind of converts to solo play, but apparently it's a thing and it's out there. A lot of people mentioned The Walking Dead. Now, as you all know, this channel was almost kind of like built up on The Walking Dead originally. I still play it now. I still come back to it from time to time as well and keep it going. It's on the shelf there behind me. And obviously the Hayes Negan game as well. I love The Walking Dead. It's a great game. And I would say it is the perfect example of a game that can be played solo, can be played co-op, and can be played player versus player, but where the solo experience doesn't feel like a poor man's co-op. So there's quite a lot of games that are in this list that you can play solo when they're technically co-op games, and the games are better playing co-op. So one that's on the list, for example, is, where can I find it? Pandemic. Pandemic is a game that really benefits from playing with multiple players. However, technically you can play it solo. The Walking Dead, you can play solo, but it feels like you're playing a solo game. It doesn't feel like you're trying to control lots of characters in a co-op experience distilled down for one player. It really is a great rule set, and Mark Latham has done a top job with that, and Mantic have done a great job as well, just kind of keeping the waves coming as well after the Kickstarter, and also the Hayes Negan board game, which was a nice addition as well, and no doubt we'll talk about that in the list, and also the new rules for I don't want to say too much, the new rules for Walking Dead as well. I'm actually going down to Mantic on Friday this week and getting a bit more information, a bit more of a sneak peek, and I'm not actually sure if I'm allowed to say anything, but let's just say if there was to be some play testing at the weekend, I might be involved in it. What else are we at? Let's have a quick look in the chat. Skull Munches saying solo game of choice is Mage Knight. Mage Knight was mentioned by somebody else. It was Tony Booth Leiden mentioned that in the Facebook group, and I'd never heard of it actually. I'll be honest. So I've done a little bit of googling tonight. It looks awesome. It looks really nice. Chris is saying you can make a kill team pretty easy and cheap. Peter saying I used to play Space Marine Scouts in original Necromunda. Nice one. And Tiberius says the book wasn't official. I'm just interested in the fact that somebody obviously went to the trouble of trying to adapt it, because it's obviously not the kind of game that naturally seems single player. But yeah, be interested to find more about that. Brian is saying, sorry, was checking the ribs in the oven. Oh, I'm quite hungry myself, mate. Have you got any going spare ribs? He says, what is Kill Team Arena? I wanted the starter box because of the terrain, the book, the 2 teams and everything. I hate buying piecemeal. Kill Team Arena is basically, it's a new expansion for Kill Team that is aimed at being the kind of the competitive, sort of balanced competitive player. It looks a little bit more like if you've seen the Rogue Trader box, where it's battles inside a spaceship on a kind of a flat area rather than 3D terrain. A lot like Necromunda Underhive, where you've got those tiles and the little doorways and stuff. It looks a lot like that. And I think from what I've read, there are predetermined deployment maps and kind of terrain maps, so that it's designed to be more balanced for competitive player. So not a lot of information has been released about that. As more information does come out, I'll no doubt make some videos about it, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's what Kill Team Arena is. Tony is saying the Skull Munch just got Mage Knight Ultimate, couple of games in and I'm hooked. Amazing games. Brian is saying I don't do 2D. Yeah, I'll be honest, it doesn't look great compared to how awesome the original box looked. Blank Shot Game is saying really enjoy the Walking Dead campaign. I've posted some solo battle reports on YouTube. I will go over and check them out later on, buddy. Thank you very much for flagging them up. Yeah, I've done one solo game, I think it is, one solo game on the Walking Dead. But I must admit, it's something, because I can kind of film easier on my own as well, it's something I'd probably go back and do more of as well. So yeah, excellent. So next on my list, this one was mentioned by Claudio. I don't know if Claudio's in tonight, but a nice big shout out to Claudio from Germany. He said Imperial Assault. So the Imperial Assault board game from Fantasy Flight, which is Star Wars, is kind of, I think it's fair to say it's essentially Descent with a Star Wars kind of skin over the top of it, and maybe slightly improved. The miniatures are very nice. The rules are really good. However, what it used to be, one player played as the Imperials, one player played as the Rebels. When Fantasy Flight started doing some of the companion apps, one of the first games that got a companion app was Imperial Assault. And this means that the game kind of AI controls the Imperials. So you can play the game solo. I've not played it. I don't have the game. I always keep getting tempted to buy it. But it is quite expensive. It's about £75 here. And it's a game that I'm not sure I get that much time into it. I am a Star Wars fan, so I keep humming and hawing, should I not? However, by all accounts, it's a fantastic game, and the companion app makes it really, really good to play. I think basically if you enter a room, you can basically program in what miniatures you've got. So if you've bought lots of expansions, it knows what expansions you've got as you've programmed them in, and it will generate kind of what enemies you come up against based upon your collection. I think that's really, really clever. Next on my list is Mage Knight, which I've been chatting about a little bit in here. Tony just saying there he got Mage Knight Ultimate. I don't know a lot about the game, but it does look pretty cool, I'll be honest. Let's have a quick catch up in the chat and see what's going on. Peter's saying to Brian that he missed the Kill Team starter, thought it would be around for a while. I hope a replacement is on the cards. I think if you shop around, buddy, you will still find it in a few shops. I know there's a few shops have still got the odd box set in, so it's definitely worth having to check out for them. Mark is saying Zombicide plays well solo, but again, still better co-op. Yeah, I've got this on the list as well somewhere. Here it is. I'll put a mark against it now I've talked about it. Mark had mentioned Zombicide, and one thing he'd said, and I actually put this on my notes as well, is that whilst you can play solo, it's always better co-op or with more players. And I think that's the key thing now is when we're talking about solo games, there are some games that can be played solo but are better with multiple players. Some games though are just designed to be really, really good solo, and definitely, as we were talking about The Walking Dead, that's one of them. Another one that Tony mentioned, and I don't know a lot about this one, and I forgot to check this one up, was Spirit Island. Now, I don't know if Spirit Island has anything to do with the Forbidden Island and all of those ones. I'm not sure. I'll hopefully maybe Tony will mention this in the comments, so we'll get back to that one. Arkham Horror card game. I picked that up over Christmas. I think I mentioned before I got some vouchers from work for my Christmas present, and I could use them at Waterstones. Waterstones now have a really good board gaming section. For anybody that does not in the UK, Waterstones is a bookstore, a bit like Barnes and Noble. That's our version of Barnes and Noble. They now have a pretty good board gaming section, so I kind of used my voucher to get this card game. And to be honest, I was torn between getting Terraforming Mars, which I think was like £55, or getting the Arkham card game. The reason I didn't get, actually it might have been more than 55. The reason I didn't get Terraforming Mars was it was a lot more expensive in Waterstones than it was on, say, Amazon or a local store, and Arkham was the same price. So I thought it was better value to buy Arkham with my voucher and spend the rest on something else. So I've yet to play it yet, but it's a game I will play, and once I've had a few playthroughs, we'll do a review for the channel. Brian is saying, does anybody play the Batman game? I assume you mean the Night Models ones, the miniatures games. I've got a few of the models. I quite like them. I paint the models. I've never played the game, to be honest. But I did back the Batman Gotham City Chronicles board game. That's due to deliver in about 2 or 3 months. So I'm looking forward to that one, mate. Justin Gregory as well. I'm not sure if we've said hello, Justin, tonight. Forgive me if we have, mate. There's that many names in. We've got quite a few in tonight, actually. We've got about 40 people in. That's not bad going. It says, will you be uploading any more Walking Dead, both solo and player versus player? I was just saying, I've got my board up there behind the camera. I've planned in another Walking Dead playthrough. Probably a solo one first, but I know when Jason and I played the one on the live stream one Monday, we both really enjoyed it. So we'll probably get together. We both went to the Winter's End tournament as well. So some of the scenarios from there, I'm sure we can kind of replicate and do them on here as well. Batman, yeah, Brian's talking about the Batman miniatures game. They saw it on Gorilla Miniature Games. We've got Glenn Griffin in. Good evening, Glenn Griffin. How are you, my friend? He said, tuning in again from my bus ride home from work. Hello, everybody on the bus. Throat Sauce saying he's going to check out Blackshot Gaming. Brian is saying Mage Knight was with Kids Clicks game. Like I say, I don't know enough about it, but it looked like it was a pretty cool, sort of decent sized box with some nice stuff in. We've got Hal Martin in, the legend that is Hal Martin. Good evening, Hal. How are you, mate? He says, Andy baby, good day, mate. Hope all's well. All's very well, thanks, mate. All's very well. We've got Marcus in again. I'll rephrase that. We've got Marcus in as well. Thank you very much for coming in again. 2 weeks in a row, Marcus. Thank you very much, buddy. Nice to get you involved again. Said he's very intrigued by Core Space by Battle Systems. The core box comes with a board full of beautiful sci-fi scenery. Reminds me of Space Crusade. Great times. If Kieran's still around in the chat, I'm pretty sure Kieran's backed the Core Space one as well, so he'll know more about it than me, but it does look really nice. I was dead tempted to pick it up recently when they had the sale on as well, where you could get back into it. Tony's saying to Brian, if it's the Night Models one, which it was, he says he gave it a miss as he couldn't figure out how to get into the game. No starter set and fairly hefty buy-in. That was one of the biggest issues. I mean, even the rule book, the original rule book that I've got, which is, have I got it on my shelf here? I think I have. There it is. Yeah. So this one, this is not the latest one. This is the one before. I mean, it's quite a hefty book. It's a beautiful book. I mean, the artwork that's in it, and but it's quite a hefty rule book. But yeah, there was no starter set at that point. I think now they're starting to work on it now, and I think there is what is it? I think they're doing like starter boxes now for factions, which I think are about 70 quid each, unfortunately. And I think there's a Suicide Squad starter box with some terrain in as well that I think was like a kind of an entry point as well. But yeah, it's not the easiest of the games to get into, I don't think. Skullmunch saying, glad you like Mage Knight Spooky. Peter saying, core space sounds interesting. Thomas is saying, never entirely sold on solo games myself. The social element of gaming is big for me. Looking forward to hopefully being convinced otherwise. Tonight though, what we'll do, I'll go through a few more games and then we're going to come back to that point, Thomas, because it was something that Malkavian Michael brought up as well in the chat. Steve is saying, the exit games play solo but are better as a group, as long as you don't have someone taking over the gameplay. They're pretty, their player wants room escapes. I think normally like escape rooms are a bit like that as well. They're great with like a bunch of people, but if you get one person who like kind of knows it all, it can spoil the experience a little bit. Mark saying he still have Hogwarts Battle on his wish list. Deck building game that can be played solo. Yeah, I mean my deck building experience started last couple of weeks with the Marvel one, and I really enjoyed that actually. I've played it a couple of times since then as well. That is another game that I think plays really well solo. It's just the setup and the breakdown again that it kind of puts me off playing it more, because the game itself plays relatively fast and it's quite nice, but it's just that having to kind of sort of put it all back in the box and filter it out again. That's the only thing about it. Tony is saying Spirit Island is an asymmetric game where you play as spirits of nature defending the island where they exist from invading explorers and the diseases and destruction they bring. Sounds pretty cool. Matt's saying Batman miniatures games is awesome. It's one of his favorites. Matt has painted some amazing Batman miniatures. The one that kind of sticks in my mind recently was his Joker model, which was awesome. Christian says best thing about solo games or playing games solo is you can learn the rules to teach other people. Yeah, that's one of the big things for me. I think actually we'll come on to the point that Malkavian made, because it all kind of fits in, and it fits in with what Thomas was saying as well. So Malkavian said he'd rather hobby than play solo games. So if he has time to play a solo game, he'd rather paint or build terrain or do something else rather than play a game solo. He'd rather game as part of a group. And I can completely get that. I understand why that's a thing. If you're somebody like Michael is, who goes to a local gaming group and gets a lot of games in, I can understand that if you've got sort of time on your own, you'll probably use that to do some painting. Thomas is saying there he's never entirely sold on it, that the social element is the big thing. By all means, if you can get gaming time in with other people, that is by far the kind of preferred route. However, solo gaming has its place and it has its time. And for me, I do a lot of stuff on this channel, but I'm able to do that because a lot of time I'm actually kind of stuck at home. So tonight, as an example, my wife's away with work. I'm on my own. The baby's next door asleep. I've got my baby monitor here in case he wakes up. It's kind of late now. If I wasn't doing this live stream, I'd probably be sitting doing a bit of painting or playing a solo game. I don't get to go to a gaming club as often as I used to now, because between me and my wife working away and me doing kind of the YouTube stuff now, I do get people come to me to play games on a night time when the little one's asleep. But generally, a lot of the gaming that I do is either with my wife, like board games, or I still enjoy doing kind of solo games as well. So it does have its place. And that's why I think that certain games that are designed to be played solo and give a great play experience rather than playing where you feel like you're kind of missing having another person. So yeah, so I think solo gaming has its place. I think there are a lot of people who really like gaming, but just don't always have a gaming kind of group to play with, or their partners are not really into gaming. So instead of sitting playing on a PlayStation, for example, they might break out a deck builder. So yeah, solo games definitely have their place. I quite like to have it to kind of chuck a couple of solo games into my bag when I'm away with work. If I'm not at a place where I can go to like a local store or a group or something, I'll sometimes kind of sit in my hotel room and have a couple of beers or something, or a glass of wine, and break out a solo game. So solo gaming does have its place. Where are we at? The other thing Christian mentioned there as well about being able to teach people. I find it if I can play the game solo and teach myself, then I can teach somebody else. Because I learn much better by seeing. I actually quite struggle to play games purely from the rule book. I need to have some kind of idea, like of kind of I like to see it in 3 dimensions, if you like. I find it really hard to read a rule book and then go and play a game. I almost have to play through it as I'm reading it. So yeah, being able to play solo is a big advantage to me. Christian, yeah, he said that. Tony is saying it's kind of like Pandemic in reverse, but a lot more thinky. Oh, I like the sound of that, mate. I do like the sound of that. Matt's saying version 2 of the game is a lot better, and they now do bat boxes for crews. I thought that's what I'd seen them, mate. I think one of the issues with this original one, if I remember right, and it is a beautiful book, was I think it's originally written in Spanish, and I think it was translated into English for this rule book, and there's a few kind of issues in there as well. But this one, has it got a year when this one come out? 2015, this one. So yeah, it's like 3-year-old now, that one. Brian is saying he's got to go work on finishing the ribs. Andy will be glad to share, but delivery across the pond will be difficult. Yeah, I'd imagine they'll be a little bit cold as well, mate. But thank you for the offer. It's the thought that counts. Tony is saying to Christian Reeves, that's how he got into it. Darren is saying Dan Vissen Games does a solo War of the Worlds game that's actually set in the same time as the book. I do like the War of the Worlds kind of that kind of almost that kind of 50s feel to kind of aliens invading and stuff like that. Something I have to check out that, mate. Thanks for that. Chris is saying he plays more solo than co-op competitive games because he mostly plays with the middle brother, but his shifts vary. Walking Dead stood out to me on a Kickstarter because of how it can be played solo. Yeah, when I'm looking at Kickstarter stuff now, I always look for solo options because it will see more playtime if I can play it on my own, even if it's only playing it on my own to teach myself the game. So Batman Gotham City has a solo sort of expansion for it. Resident Evil, which I backed, has a solo player, and Hellboy, which I'm really looking forward to. Might be getting some sneak peeks of that this week as well, so stay tuned for that. Hellboy, you can play that solo as well, so yeah, I've backed that one. Chris is also saying Mars Attacks AI cards came out. I was all over them. Yeah, I think I've showed it before. Mars Attacks. It's on my shelf here. I normally have it on the shelf somewhere, but yeah, Mars Attacks is great as well. It's almost kind of like for me. It's Mars Attacks is like the kind of the combination of Dead Zone and Walking Dead. It's got that Dead Zone kind of 3x3 square movement. But feels like The Walking Dead on a map. It really is a good game, actually. It's a shame that it's not like kind of the license wasn't continued. Thomas is saying interesting ideas. You got my interest too. As someone who'd probably rather hobby normally, maybe that's why I never get to play games as I can't get to a club. I should at least try solo. It's definitely worth it. I mean, solo gaming is not for everybody. Some people find like sometimes my wife will go to me like, "You just playing that on your own? Like you should have said we could have played together," kind of thing. And sometimes I'm just kind of working through the rules in my head, like just trying to understand how to play it. But yeah, if you don't get to a group often, or you don't get to play games often, playing solo is a nice kind of backup. Hal is saying, Andy, did you mention the one-player guild on Board Game Geek? Massive community for all things solo. really blown up the past couple of years, but in the beginning there was just a couple of hundred of us. I didn't mention it, mate, but I didn't even know it was a thing. I've actually been searching on Board Game Geek tonight for solo stuff, and that didn't actually flag up. So yeah, check out One Player Guild on Board Game Geek, folks. Thanks for that, Hal. Said it's the second biggest guild on the Geek. I wonder what the first biggest one is then. But well done on being number 2, that's for sure. Tony's saying Spirit Island is very tough to beat. Comes with a whole bunch of ways to crank up the difficulty with challenges based around specific explorers. I like it when you can kind of crank up like difficulty, when you can adjust the difficulty of your game. Here's Negan has got something similar like that as well. So if you're playing with like less people or less survivors, there's options to kind of scale up and scale down the difficulty. I really like that. It's a really good way to play the game. It's almost like when you're playing a computer game and you can put it on easy mode or hard mode. Chris is saying it's like Dead Zone Light. Yeah, definitely. Matt's saying that version 1 was clunky and had big holes in the rules. Version 2 is a lot more streamlined and familiar for gamers. The rules are free on their site as it's one of the most cinematic games to play. It's something I should really kind of give a try to because I love Batman. I'm really kind of if I had to pick kind of what my one superhero, Batman's my kind of is my go-to. I like the fact that his superpower is he's just really rich and he has loads of inventions. But yeah, I think there's a lot of people don't like night models. They've had some kind of complaints about them, how they've handled things in the past, or the quality of some of the miniatures. But I'll be honest, the ones that I've picked up in the past have been fantastic. Mine were the metal ones, the original ones. I know that some of them are resin now, and I don't know if there's any problems with them. I've not seen them with my own eyes, so. But surely, Matt speaks very highly of them, so that's good enough for me. Tony saying Mars Attacks is brilliant. Where else can your minis get mown down by a flaming cow? I love that in the film as well. Has anybody seen the Mars Attacks film? The one with Jack Nicholson in, and who else is in it? Matthew Broderick and God, I can't even remember what's she called? Jessica. I forget what she's called. The one that was in her that was in that other one that I can't remember. What's she called? Sarah Jessica Parker. That's what I was trying to think of. Matthew Broderick's wife. Yeah, great film. Jack. Well, just before I get on to Jack as well, I also like the fact that Mantic brought out rules for the Martians from Mars Attacks to be able to play them in Dreadball as well and to play them in Dead Zone. I thought that was really cool. Jack was saying Escape the Dark Castle solo. It's on my list, mate. I'll tell you what, before we talk about that one, let's crack on and I'll go through a few more because that is on my list. I'll let the chat catch up a little bit. So next on the list, Christian mentioned this one, was Labyrinth. I've not played the Labyrinth game. I have got, is it on this side of me? Yes, it is. Got Dark Crystal, which is obviously one of the Jim Henson games. I think when I spoke to Alessio about Labyrinth, that basically it was like their biggest selling game and it was sold out, and they basically didn't have any more stock of it in. It's been a really popular game for them. I think if you have a look online as well, I'm pretty sure it's the guy that designed the sculpts for Labyrinth. Is it the guy from Weta Workshop? He does a thing with Adam Savage, a video with Adam Savage, who used to do Mythbusters. I'll get to the end story in a minute. I'm just going the long way around. He used to do a story with Mythbusters, where he built this amazing kind of like map of Labyrinth stuff. Oh, my little boy's having a couple of tears there. He's not been very well today, so I'm just checking on. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I'm just going to put you on hold for 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Give me 30 seconds. And we're back. Thanks for that, folks. This is what happens when you've got a little one next door. So where was I up to? Yeah, check it out. Adam Savage, Weta Workshop, did an amazing kind of terrain layout that was based upon Labyrinth. So next one on the list, Zombicide we've chatted about. Lord of the Rings card game. I think it was James Q mentioned this one in the Facebook chat. I'm not familiar with it, but it's another card game that you can play solo. Excuse me. Oh. Next one on the list, Dungeon Saga. So Mark mentioned this one. I've got Dungeon Saga as well. I've played through it a few times, sort of 2-player. I haven't got the solo expansion yet. I actually didn't pick up this until after the Black Friday sale, where the solo expansion, excuse me, the Adventurous Companion, I think it is, was only like a tenner, and I wish I could have got it at the time. The next one on the list was Pandemic, which we've also talked about. So let's see where we're up to in the chat. Yeah, Escape the Dark Castle as well. It says, need to start solo gaming more like you, Andy. It's hard to get into gaming groups. Often at the moment, want to change that this year. Yeah, I mean, I have to try and cover a lot of different stuff for the channel as well. So if it can be played solo, I tend to kind of at least have a couple of solo run-throughs, and then my wife will play something with me as well. So I can see what it plays like with more than one person to try and get a good comparison. But it gives me a chance to learn the rules. It gives me a chance to play through it a few times and get my head around it for a review and know which bits to talk about and which bits to not talk about. And it also allows me to be able to teach my wife how to play it as well. And if I can teach her, then it means I've understood it as well. And I think I mentioned it last week. I don't review anything on the channel until I've played it at least 3 times. Because I think that's only fair, really. The first time you're probably going to miss stuff. So yeah, being able to play solo is a big help for me. Where are we up to? Howell's saying Dice Tower is the biggest guild in the geek, but we don't talk about shills. Ooh, interesting. Shills. I actually don't watch a lot of Dice Tower. I don't know whether that's kind of whether that's sacrilege in this kind of world. I just do I want to say what I want to say? I think the work they put out, the amount of work they put out is unbelievable. I just don't think they've I don't think they've improved. I don't think they've moved on. They've been doing the same kind of stuff for quite some time. I would have liked to see them kind of mix it up a little bit. And I'm not really sure which of them I would most familiarise my own gaming with, so that I could sort of say, oh, if he likes that, I'll like it as well. I don't think there's one of them that kind of like ties up with my particular kind of likes and dislikes. So yeah, so I tend not to watch it very often, if I'm honest. Only if it's a specific game that I'm interested in. Chris is saying the film with everyone in it. It definitely was, wasn't it? Tony saying Night Models did the Harry Potter game, I believe. Yes, they did. Marcus is saying, yeah, Escape the Dark Castle looks great. I love the retro fighting fantasy style artwork. There's an interview with the guy that made the game on Beasts of War, and I don't know if I've imagined this, but I'm sure one of the artists who did the fighting fantasy books did some of the art for the Dark Castle. I might have imagined that, but I'm pretty sure I did. Throat Sauce says he's subbed to Blackshot Gaming. Thank you very much for supporting the community, buddy. And he says, can Star Saga be played solo? Yes, it can. Chris is saying the video of the Weta scenery is incredible. Love the trees that are like animals. It is unbelievable. I'll put a link in the Facebook group later on tonight. It is one of the best pieces of kind of wargaming terrain stuff. And it's all designed to be kind of sort of moved around and kind of sort of modular. It's unbelievable. Mark saying, yes, I believe so. Same as Dungeon Saga. I think the difference is Star Saga plays solo out of the core box. You don't have to buy any expansions for it. Throat Sauce saying family first, no problem being put on hold. Yeah, sorry mate, sorry. Michael saying going for a hasty number 2. Yep, that would have been hasty there and back for that one. Jack saying, and Marcus, it's a great game. I backed the Kickstarter, so got all the expansions. The core set's around 40 quid and it's up to 4 players. Throat Sauce saying the whole music is cool too. think I got it from like the kind of the list of YouTube music that you can use without any license. Hal Martin says, send Andy money for his internet bill. please send me money. It doesn't have to be for my internet bill. I'd quite like to buy Imperial Assault, so yeah, send me money. Christian says to Chris, it was an amazing build. If only I had the space for something similar. If only I had the time and the skills for something similar. It'd be unbelievable. Peter says, I think he's ordering the ribs. Yeah, I'll probably have to dash off in about another 10 minutes for the delivery driver. Jack says, Star Saga is also one player. Skullmunch says, yes, love Lord of the Rings card game. Great challenge and really need to tweak your deck for each scenario. That sounds quite interesting because I didn't get that impression from the deck building game that I played that you actually had much control over it. So it'll be interesting to see how like kind of like a living card game, how something like that plays. I'll probably see more of it when I try out Arkham Horror, I think. But yeah, that'll be good. We've got Rain as well. Says, hey buddy, late to the party. You're never late, Rain. As if I can paraphrase a film that I've never seen. Sing about a wizard. What is it? Is it a wizard arrives precisely when he means to? I think that's what it is. So welcome, buddy. Tony is saying, yeah, regarding Dice Tower, there's only so many top 10 lists in board gaming you can watch. The component drop at the beginning of their reviews makes me cringe. I can imagine them doing it with like a box of miniatures one day, just like tipping this box up and seeing all these miniatures just bouncing around and everyone just going, no. Right, next one on the list. This one was by Mark Campo. He said Death Angel. I didn't have a clue what that was. I went and Googled it, and it's a Space Hulk card game. I didn't even know it existed, but you can play that solo as well. So don't know much about it, but it looks pretty cool. Runebound, again, another one suggested by Mark Campo. I very quickly looked it up. It wasn't a game I recognised. I don't know a lot about it, but it's one of his recommendations. And then another one, which was my recommendation, was Hostage Negotiator. Now, have I got that on my shelf here somewhere? It's here somewhere. There's that many games dotted about. God knows where it is. But yeah, Hostage Negotiator. If you haven't seen it, I did a playthrough of it on the channel. Go and check it out. It is only a solo game. There's not many games that are only solo. That is one of them, and that's a game that I quite often throw in an overnight bag. Doesn't take up much space on kind of like a desk in a hotel room kind of thing, and is a lot of fun to play as well. Darren Whitehouse says to Tony, couldn't agree more, old son. So yeah, I mean, I just, don't get me wrong, they're the biggest kind of board game and channel out there now. They deserve everything they've got. They've kind of paved the way for people like me to come in and do board game reviews as well, and they've created a community and an audience. So kind of hats off to them. I'm really pleased for them, but I'd like to see them kind of take a few chances, do something a little bit different. I do see a lot of kind of top 10 videos. They obviously get access to a lot of games early, so I do kind of watch those ones. I think I probably prefer Rodney Smith, if I'm honest, with watch it played, and I quite like to watch drive-through reviews as well. If anybody's seen his stuff, he's actually a member of my Facebook group as well, and I really like some of his review stuff. He started branching out more into miniature stuff as well. Does quite a bit of Games Workshop stuff. Tony's saying Death Angel is brutal, and Skullmunch is saying Death Angel is hard as hell. Me and the Mammal played it last weekend and lost miserably. Yeah, it's not a game I'd even heard of, mate. I didn't even realise it was a Space Hulk thing until I googled it. So yeah, Hostage Negotiator is another one on the list. Another one that it would be amiss of me not to mention is, or as Uncle Adam would say, Pachow, is Here's Negan. A great dungeon crawler-esque version, board game version, I should say, of The Walking Dead. Mechanics work really well. Negan is controlled by the board game. The walkers are controlled by the board game. And you can control the survivors either solo or co-op. And it's another game that really does play well as a solo experience. You feel like there's a challenge. It's not just the same thing happens every time where it becomes predictable. yeah, really is a fun game. And if there was a game that you want to be able to play solo and play with other people, Here's Negan is a great shout. Right, a few more games. How are we doing for time anyway? It feels like tonight's going really fast. 5 to 10. Another few games as well that I don't think I realised they were solo games, were Gloomhaven. Now, Gloomhaven is a game that has been at the top of the Board Game Geek charts for quite some time. I'm not sure if it still is, but it certainly was for quite some time. And it has really high praise. And it's a game I would love to play, but I just know that I probably wouldn't get the play time out of it. But I didn't realise it was a solo game too. Now, this might potentially kind of twist my arm into thinking about picking it up at some time in the future. It's quite an expensive game, so I really have to do a bit more research, I think. But I like the way it's a bit of a kind of legacy-esque game, how you go through and kind of open secret boxes as you go. It was a bit of a is fad the right word? It was a bit of a kind of mechanic that was used in a lot of games last year. These kind of opening the boxes and kind of surprises as you go. But yeah, it's a game that I'd like to try. I'd at least like to demo it, I think. So who knows, maybe I'll get a chance one day. Terraforming Mars, we touched upon briefly as well when I was on about, what's it called, Waterstones, selling it as well. It's a game that gets very highly ranked. When I looked at it, there's a lot of cards inside the box, there's a lot of components. It was a game that I thought me and my wife might not play very often, just purely due to the amount of stuff that was in the box. My wife prefers a more, I shouldn't say a simple game, but a more straightforward game, less having to learn the rules and more play the game and have fun. But yep, you can play that solo too. Scythe is another game you can play solo as well now, and I didn't realise that. When I first saw Scythe, and from the title and from the photograph on the front of the box, it looked a little bit like kind of like Agricola, like some kind of farming simulator. But when you look at that picture a bit closer, there's kind of like sort of mechanical kind of alien-esque monsters coming over the hills, isn't there? So I need to do a bit more digging about Scythe. It's not something I've played. It's not something I know a lot about. All I know it is one of the most kind of highly rated games from last year. Let's have a quick look in the chat and see what's happening. Let's have a look. Thomas is saying he's paying eyes. I lost track of the chat. But did someone say they were playing Pandemic solo? If so, do you just control more than one character? Does it make it much easier? Yeah, you do just control more than one character. You can control 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to do it. Does it make it easier? It depends. If you're the person that doesn't know what to do normally and you get kind of bullied into doing somebody else's tactics, it might make it easier because you get to play it your way. However, I think Pandemic does have, there is an optimum way to play it, and once you know that, the game probably becomes more kind of luck based, depending on how the cards are in the deck, rather than how you play it. I think the balancing kind of comes into the game when you're playing with other people and their decisions and being able to sit and talk it through. I mean, there is a Pandemic kind of sort of app, like a Pandemic digital game. Maybe that's worth picking up and trying that one instead. But yeah, by all means, give it a try. Chris is saying to Christian, I'd do an entire D&D campaign on that board. It has elements of everything. It would be amazing, that, wouldn't it? I assume we're still talking about the Weta Workshop one. Thomas is saying, Hostage Negotiator did look good. Does it have enough replay value? That was the only thing holding me back. It does have quite a bit of replay value. What I would say is, I forget what the name of it is, but the Hostage Negotiator I got was the original one, and there is 3 sort of terrorists that are in that box. There is another version of Hostage Negotiator which has the expansion built in as well, and I think it's roughly the same price now as well as what I pay. I think I paid 20 quid for it. I think it's about £25, and it gets the expansions in there as well, and that really does add a bit of extra replayability as well. Let's have a look. Skullmunch says there's this one great YouTuber who does board game reviews. What's his name again? Is it Poker Legacy or something along them lines? Something like that, mate. I don't think I'm familiar with them. I have started doing more board game reviews now, and I'll be honest. I mean, it's something that's quite new to me. I'm trying to do something a bit different. I think some of my board game reviews I'm quite happy with. I think I've done a good job of, and I stand by everything I've said. Some of my board game reviews, I think I could have spent more time talking about how the game plays. It's always a fine balance when I'm doing a board game review. I try not to make them too long, and I feel like I have to explain how to play the game a little bit in order to contextualize how I feel about the game and what my opinion on it is. So if you've got any feedback, if you're watching any of my board game reviews and you're thinking, I would like to know more about this, or you've spent too much time doing that, please feel free to give me the feedback. I won't take it kind of personally, you know. It's all part of growing, it's all part of learning, and it's all part of trying to get better. So yeah, I honestly do really appreciate anybody that comments on my videos. I really appreciate the feedback. I really appreciate you kind of watching and commenting, letting me know what you think about it. So yeah, thanks, mate. Hal Martin says, I got to say about solitaire gaming, as it's been into it for many, many, many years. I'll maybe start a discussion on your Facebook group. Please do. Again, the Facebook group, I don't mind people sharing their videos from their YouTube channels and bits and pieces, but that's not just what it's for. I love it when people start a chat and share pictures of what they're painting or ask questions or all those different bits and pieces. So yeah, start any topic you want and have a good chat about it. It says mostly discussing the one player guild on Board Game Geek and how it'll help. Please do, mate. I'd really appreciate that. Tiberius is saying Dice Tower remind me of that Armstrong and Miller sketch where super inspirational teacher who stops mid-sentence, gets his paper out and feeds when the bell goes up and says, it's my time now. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Krista said to Christine, love it. Don't have anyone to play with though. Me and my mates were doing a campaign on Roll20, but they kind of dropped off now. Yeah, Steve, I've mentioned this before. Steve tried to get me involved in his Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and my personal kind of circumstances didn't work out. I couldn't be free at the right times, but I would love to even just do a one shot. I think if anybody is going to UK Games Expo this year, okay, if you're staying overnight and would like to run it or would like to take part in a one shot D&D, like for a few hours one night, please let me know and let's try and set something up, because that will be my only experience of kind of RPG. I'd love to do a one shot. Hal is saying, as for Gloomhaven being solo, any co-op game can be played solo. It certainly can. I don't even think I realised kind of Gloomhaven was solo, to be honest. I just saw this massive big box of stuff and assumed that there's no way you can play that as one player. Tony is saying, I like Gloomhaven a lot, not tried it solo. Christian is saying to Chris, getting people, that's just jumped up off the screen, I've lost what it said now. Where was it? Getting people together is always an issue. My friend is a DM, but we just haven't been able to sit down and start a campaign. Bold and Nerdy, evening fella, how are you doing? He said, Gloomhaven seems so huge and complicated. How new player friendly is it? That's exactly what I was just saying there. That's what kind of put me off and how I assumed there's no way you can play this solo. There's just too much there to get your head round. Steve is saying Terraforming Mars is a great game but lacks quality components, where Scythe is a great game and very high quality parts. Maybe I'll check out Scythe in that case. Tony is saying the Bold Nerdy, Gloomhaven is fairly steep learning curve, but it really is worth it. I was watching something I was watching something recently, and I think in Gloomhaven you can kind of tweak the difficulty a little bit, can't you? And I think somebody was complaining that they toned down the difficulty a bit because they were struggling with a bit, and then when they'd left it at that kind of level, it became too easy a little bit further down the line, and they were kind of trying to find the balance. I don't understand enough about that conversation because I don't really know the game, but that was just something that kind of stuck in my brain. Mark is saying, Tiny Epic Quest, Kingdoms, Zombies, nice, small, portable, and solo. I did see Tiny Epic Kingdoms, I think, was on the list when I was looking. I need to do a bit more digging about those ones. Marcus DeCull says, Shadows of Brimstone, Flying Frog Games, plays very well solo and really immersive. It's a massive box though, so definitely not recommended as a travel game. Yeah, I've got, which one is it? It's there somewhere. I've got Last Night on Earth. That's the one. That was my first kind of serious board game. That wasn't like kind of Monopoly or Game of Life. That was kind of where I started with my board gaming experience after being miniature games kind of only really for years. And I really like that game. I don't think you can play it solo, that one, because somebody has to control the zombies. So unless there's an expansion that is kind of AI controlled, I don't know about. But yeah, I've heard good things about Shadow of Brimstone. I actually saw it for sale. Somebody told me it was for sale in a local charity shop, and I jumped straight in the car and went round to have a look at it. And unfortunately, like all of the miniatures were missing out of it, so I didn't pick it up. But yeah, it looks an awesome game. Robert Marshall's in. It says, "What have I missed?" Evening, Robert Marshall. How are you doing, buddy? It says, "Cheers, Andy. Might pick up Hostage Negotiator then and give it a go. Definitely looked exciting." It's pretty cool. It's quite a, like, you really have to think about the tactics on how you're going to tackle it, because it makes a big difference. Robert says, "What have I missed?" Oh no, you said that, haven't you? The next thing said, "What's the Facebook group name?" If you're talking about, yes, Thomas has just mentioned it. I was going to say, if you talk about my Facebook group, Thomas has just mentioned it there. It's BlackJack Legacy Tabletop Gaming Group. Yeah, go and check it out on Facebook. We've got about 460 members in there now. Everybody just kind of sharing sort of painting projects. I have my monthly painting challenge in there. I kind of let you know what videos are coming up, ask kind of opinions, people post questions, all sorts of stuff in there. Thomas says, "One night D&D at UK Games Expo sounds good. Never got to try it properly, but would like to give it a go." Yeah, I've never tried it. I couldn't run it myself, but if somebody was up for running one, I'd definitely be in for taking part. Tiberius says his D&D group player using Discord because it's hard to get everyone together and we all live within 15 miles of each other. That's just life, mate, isn't it, unfortunately? Skullmunch says, "Gloomhaven is actually surprisingly simple rules-wise. I thought there's just a ton of stuff in the box with almost infinite variability." I think sometimes infinite possibilities can make a game feel really, really hard, when in reality it's not. So I don't think there's any way I can really just kind of try it out without buying it, but it's like 150 quid. It's a lot of money to spend to just kind of give it a go. I'll need to try and get my head around that somehow at one point. Chris is saying, "A few years back you got a card game called Virus where you're creating a virus trying to get it to lethality 100. Really fun game. Go from like 5 minutes to 15. My wife loves games like that. Anything you can play in kind of 15 minutes. She'd rather play like a 15-minute game and re-rack it and play like 8 times over 2 hours than play a 1 2-hour game." Tony said, "The Skullmunch probably helps with Gloomhaven if you aren't used to playing dungeon crawlers, as it's pretty much a Euro game at heart. The thing that most find difficult is the enemy AI and targeting." I definitely need to find out more about this game. Tony says, "Some of the classes are tough to crack the playstyle of too." Interesting. And the last one on my list for tonight, we've talked about briefly, was Escape the Dark Castle as well. I remember seeing this at UK Games Expo when I met up with Ross. I don't think Ross is in tonight, but Ross is the owner of EH Gaming. I met up with him at UK Games Expo last year. He was absolutely raving about it, and he told me, go and buy it, you'll not regret it. And I completely forgot to pick it up, and it's now available at retail, and I should probably pick it up. I've seen it in like Forbidden Planet recently and Traveling Man and stuff. I should probably pick it up now. The artwork is really reminiscent of the old Fighting Fantasy books. The way it plays, the way you actually kind of, where you're writing down your hit points and kind of tracking it through the adventure, it feels very much like that. And I think there's been a couple of expansions come out since then as well, or certainly, is there a Return to Dark Castle or something like that? I might have imagined the name of it, but I think there's some expansions which have extra characters and stuff in them now as well. So definitely worth checking out. Skullmunch says you can give Gloomhaven a go on Tabletopia or Tabletop Simulator if you have it. I do have it. I didn't know that. Thank you very much, buddy. That might be the way to dip my toe in without spending 150 quid. Hal Martin says, content opposed to complexity is where folks get confused on difficulty of some games, hence Gloomhaven opposed to Magic Knight. Good point, Hal, good point. And Jack says, Beasts of War have an article series at the moment about getting into solo gaming. They must have seen the title of my video and they've panicked and thought we need to do something. I don't think anybody worries about what I'm doing. Tony says, I honestly thought I'd hate Dark Castle, but I do really like it. Only played a handful of times, but not managed to defeat any of the bosses yet, though. I think initially, it looks very black and white, doesn't it? And I mean that purely from an aesthetic point of view. It is all black and white. The images are all black and white. The cards are black and white. It's got an aesthetic that you have to love, you have to like to be able to kind of keep playing it. And I think initially that's maybe what's kind of held me off a little bit. But I'll be honest, I've not heard anything but good things about it. It looks like we've had a solid kind of 40 people in the chat tonight. I'm pretty happy with that. Really nice to see so many people in there tonight and chatting on. How have people found the chat tonight? Because I think normally we get a little bit off track. I've tried to kind of spend a bit of time and do a bit of research for tonight. Try and keep it on the subject. Try to keep it talking about the games. Trying to keep an eye on the chat as well. How have people found the chat tonight? Have you enjoyed it? I mean, we're not done yet. We've got like 20 minutes left, but I think we'll probably get into the last 20-minute ramble now as well, and we'll still chat about solo games as it crops up. But I'm all for feedback. Where are we now? 21st, 3 weeks into the year now. 3 weeks of 5 videos a week. This week's videos are done. I'm in Mantic Games at the weekend, as I said, Friday and Saturday. So I'm getting some more content filmed there, which will then go up at some point in the future as well. Can't really share everything that I'm doing there, but I will do when I can. And then I'm looking at my list of stuff that's coming up as well. So this week, what can you look forward to this week? Tomorrow is Tuesday, is board game night, is Keyforge review. So one for you, Skull Munch. I know you're a big Keyforge fan. You have to let me know if you agree with my comments about it. Wednesday's video, I've wiped them off now. I've wiped them off my board because I've done them. Wednesday's video is the Kings of War Vanguard battle report that Sam and I filmed at the weekend. That we filmed 3 times before we got one that worked. We had a nightmare at the weekend with technology. My computer kept crashing, kept getting a blue screen. We managed to film one game and then the audio was all screwed up because one of the cameras' audio was still switched on as well as the microphones, and it all crashed together. It made a nightmare. But we finally got a 3rd game played. We got it on camera. It looks awesome. I'm really pleased with it. We played, what was the mission that we played? Supply grab, the one where you have the 3 objectives across the board and you score on them at the end. We played supply grab. So yeah, watch out for that one on Wednesday. So that's what I've got coming this week. Thursday, if I can remember what we've got for Thursday. No, my blind's gone black because I've wiped off all the videos that I've done. But there's a chat on Thursday and there's a painting video on Friday. So watch out for those ones. How are we doing? Let's have a look at let's have a look in the chat and see how things are going. Christian is saying should check out Dungeon Mayhem. It's a D&D card game for your wife. Plays really fast once you understand how it works. Takes 15-20 minutes to get through a complete game. I will check that out, mate. Thank you very much, Christian. Chris says it was a good chat. Definitely been more focused than last week. Yeah, do you know what it is? I got loads of views on that video as well. Like it's at nearly 400 views, which for a live chat is kind of really good. Because live chats don't get promoted really outside of once they've been live. But I've been working on trying to get the titles right and the tagging and all that kind of stuff. And I think the title it was a bit of a false promise, really. I think people went into watching that video expecting a bit of chat about the topic, and it never really materialized last week, did it? Tony said it's flown by again, mate. Always a good sign. Yeah, it's like 10:15 now. I mean, don't get me wrong, we'll still chat for a while longer, but yeah, it's been good. Skullmunch says, question about the top table Blackjack Legacy Painting Challenge event that I can never remember the name of. Can people do that? The Middle-earth strategy battle game on The Walking Dead, or do they clash? They clash, mate. The reason they clash is because the strategy battle game is a 2-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and The Walking Dead is a 1-day event. I think it's the Sunday. So yeah, sorry mate, they do clash. So you could do, say, Vanguard and Walking Dead. You could do, what else is on the Saturday? I think the Drowned Earth might be Saturday. You could maybe do Drowned Earth and Walking Dead. But if you want to do the Middle Earth, it's a 2-day event, buddy. And it's called Top Table Legacy Weekender. There you go. Thomas C says, brilliant chat, Andy. Flown by. Definitely has, buddy, hasn't it? It has. Hal Martin saying, well, mate, time for me to head back out to the ranch. Another fantastic Monday Night Live. Thanks again for the Vine. You are welcome, buddy. Just saw it on my screen in front of me, which is the same time you're seeing it, but then I'm 20 seconds behind it. We've just had another couple of subscribers tonight as well. How's subscribers going at the minute? I've got to a point where I'm trying not to check my subscriber numbers now, because actually I can't control it. People subscribe, people unsubscribe. I can't control that. All I can control is the amount of videos I make and the quality of the videos. So as long as I keep doing that, in theory, the numbers should come with it, really. So where are we at? Let's have a look. We're at 3,741 subscribers at the minute. So thank you to every single one of you lot. Throat Sauce says, always found your chats engaging. I still have no idea how you do it live. Do you know what? I was just thinking about this tonight before I started. Definitely having subjects planned out well in advance is really helpful for me. Spending about an hour or two before the show and doing a bit of research and asking in the Facebook group and getting your input beforehand, because you guys, like, I know sort of quite a few games, but I don't know everything. I can never know every game, which is where your input really, really does help me. So being prepared, being prepped, spending a bit of time to do some research. Before it starts, I'm always really nervous. It seems a bit random, but I kind of sit here like in silence, watching the clock counting down, just like, oh. But then kind of once it's live, I'm just kind of chatting, and it's because it's kind of weird. I've been doing it that long now. I mean, I'm looking down the camera lens now, and all I can see is my camera with a big lens on the front looking at me. But it feels like I'm chatting to you. It doesn't feel like I'm kind of sitting here on my own. I feel like I'm having a conversation. When the chat comes back and we're kind of having that backwards and forwards, it actually it starts to flow and it starts to feel natural. And as long as I've got a drink to stop my throat from going dry, I'm all right, mate. Where? Marcus is saying, excellent chat. Thank you very much, Marcus. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Peter saying, it's okay, Andy. I made some notes. I hope that's notes for feedback and not just like you just have to make notes for it or something like that. Christian saying, chat was great as always. Thank you, Christian. Robert is saying, I kind of miss the days where you had an adventure book with a pencil and a rubber. Turn to page 6. I tell you what, how would you like to do that one Monday Night Live chat? If I can get my hands on a fighting fantasy book, how about we do it as a group? And what we'll do is you can take turns making decisions, something like that. How about we do that one night? Let me know in the comments after the video. So once the video has been live, once the video is kind of once the video is on YouTube rather than seeing it live, go back to the video, give the video a thumbs up, and comment down below if you want to do a Fighting Fantasy live on one Monday night live stream. Let me know. Skullmunch says, if your review doesn't say it's the best game ever, then I disagree. Mark Berrincliffe says, hashtag Kill Monday Blues with BJL live. Thank you, mate. Tony is saying, Robert, Dark Castle is very reminiscent of those Fighting Fantasy books as a legacy of Dragonholt. Maybe we do that then. Maybe we do Escape the Dark Castle live on one night. Chris is saying, has anyone played Can You Survive the Zombie Apocalypse by Max Brailer? A great choose your own adventure book. Might give it another go tonight. Has anybody tried the Choose Your Own Adventure board game that's out? I've not tried it yet, but I used to love those books when I was a kid. Be a good thing to try. Skullmunch, awesome, mate. Thanks for clarification. You're welcome. Robert says to Tony, he'll have a look. We've got Elite C64. I used to love Elite on the Commodore 64. Good evening, buddy, and welcome to the chat. He says, only just managed to tune in. I'm a new gamer and been zombieciding it and enjoying it. Can you compare a similar game? If you've not tried The Walking Dead, It's a similar game from the point of view as it's zombies, and it's also an awesome kind of zombie game and solo game and co-op game. So Zombicide and Walking Dead, I would say, are pretty good companions for each other. Is there anything else I would compare alongside those? Mark, you play a lot of Zombicide. Is there any other games you would compare to Zombicide that you would recommend, buddy? Let me know. Thanks for tuning in, Elite, by the way. Thanks, mate. And welcome to your first live stream, I believe. Tony says, oh, have a look at 5 Against the Darkness 2. Really good. The chat just went a bit nuts there. I've lost where I was up to. Christian says, good to know I'll get my Drowned Earth stuff done and add my Walking Dead painted minis. I won't be bringing Michonne or Negan though. You have to bring Michonne. Oh, you have to. Flying Mammal says, input. You are so natural we can't get a word in. So natural. Do you know what it is? I was going to say, I am like this in real life. I was going to say I'm probably not like. I'm obviously much more chatty when I do this because I have to. If I sit here in silence, just going, let me just read the comments. It's going to be a bit of a dull stream. So I have to try and keep the hardest bit. And I bet people who do like streaming all the time suffer from this, or people who do like radio shows. It's being able to read the comments and keep talking about what I'm talking about. Read the comment, trying to get my answer in my head so I can talk about it after I've finished talking about what I'm talking about. That's what I find difficult. But I'm getting much better as I've been doing these chats for longer. Peter says, Andy, if I post a pic of my Space Wolves on your Facebook group, will you let me know if you can see them? I definitely will, Peter. Let me know, mate. I should be able to actually tell you straight away if you've done it now. But we will have a look. I'm not sure if you've done it yet, mate. But yeah, let me know. But I will do, mate. I'll be able to comment on it. Flying Mammal, because you don't stop talking. Yes, do it, she says. Skullmunch says, no, the chat was #Top Bands. Always Top Bands. Steve Evans says, do it. Darren says, yes, do a fighting fantasy book. Shaggy says, that looks fun. It sounds fun, sorry. Thumbs up from Flying Mammal. 4 Against the Darkness. We've got Rhino 10E. Good evening, Rhino 10E. Thank you for joining the chat. I don't know if you've been in all night and you're just chirping up now, but thank you for being here. Jack, he's got some, I think he's just getting so excited, he's hit a few keys there. Robert Marshall says, do the book. Tony says, top deal. Jack is saying, Andy, if you play Fighting Fantasy, I expect different voices. I'm not sure I can do voices. Everybody in the Fighting Fantasy book will just be a different pitch of Geordie. Shall we go left down the tunnel, lad? That was more Yorkshire, to be fair. Yes, Fighting Fantasy live game, genius. Let's do it. As you read, yeah. Different voices of the rate. I'll have to work on that one, I think. Matt says, yeah, Fighting Fantasy, we can't cheat though by remembering the page. In that case, I won't tell you which book it's going to be. That's right. Mark is saying, Elite, is it the modern one you play or the Black Plague version? That's a good option. There's like sort of Black Plague and Green Horde, that kind of thing. If you enjoy Zombicide kind of original, there's some good options. Chris is saying, Zombies from Twilight Creations. Is that the one I've got here, I think? That's the one. Yeah, Zombies. I've actually only played it once, I think, you know. Is this the one with the tiny... Oh, I've sellotaped it up from when I moved house. That shows how long ago it was since I actually played it. That's not good, is it? Talking of old games as well, does anybody remember this one? Project Pandora from Mantic. It was one of their first kind of dungeon crawler games. It's a Mantic and River Horse. There you go. I'm pulling all my stuff off my shelves now. Right, let's have a look. What else we got? He says they also do a bunch of other versions like Martians. I saw the Martians one at UK Games Expo last year. Rhino 10E says, I just found your channel today. Watched Necromunda versus Kill Team. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for tuning in tonight as well. Much appreciated. I kind of just do a mixture of all different kind of games. This year, I'm starting to branch out a bit more into board gaming as well. So I don't know if you've seen my kind of 2019 plans video, but Mondays are always live chats. We have a topic and we try and talk about. Tonight's topic was solo gaming. Tuesday is always board games. Wednesday is always miniature games. Thursday is just like an opinion kind of sit and chat type thing. And Fridays is like a hobby or a painting tutorial. So 5 videos a week this year. So far, I've not missed one. I'm trying to keep it up for the entire year. So yeah, I appreciate you tuning in, and I appreciate you being part of the chat tonight. Tony is saying to Elite C64 Zombicide's great fun, lots of it, plus Black Pig, Green Horde all add to the fun. Massive Darkness and the others 7 Sins are pretty good too. Good shouts. Chris said he's managed to paint 7 models this month. With everything going on this month, I dare say that's not too bad. I dare say that's pretty fantastic, mate. I can't remember the last time I painted 7 models in a month. This month, because I've been concentrating more on the channel, so I'm doing my Space Wolves at the minute. So those bad boys are over there. I've done the painting video for my Death Guard. I've done the painting video for Negan. I've done the painting video for my Infinity models as well. I've done more painting this month to do content than I think I've ever done. So it's really motivating for me as well. Let's have a look. Tiberius says, if you do a fighting fantasy book, tag Ian Livingston ahead of time on Twitter. He retweets that stuff. Thank you. I will do. Skullmunch says, hey up champ, fancy fighting that skeleton and going for a kebab. Do you hear? Fight the skeleton, or if you fight the skeleton, turn to page 65, or if you go for a few pints down the big market, turn to page 7. Throat sore, I'm going, turn to page 55 now. That's how excited I am. Chris is saying, great game. I've got a bunch of the expansions for zombies. Elite 64 says, modern one, I got season 1 only, about to paint that, but can't for the life of me find a paint guide for all the characters. It was you, Elite, wasn't it, that was asking me to do a painting guide on the characters from Zombicide. I don't have the game, buddy. I'm sorry. I would do one if I had it. But yeah, if you watch my video on painting Negan, if you watch my video on how to paint the zombies as well, you can use those methods and they'll work fine for a kind of simple way to get your Zombicide stuff done. Mark's saying that if you like fantasy, the Black Plague one is awesome. Get on the BlackJack Legacy Facebook group, can help you find lists from there. Yeah, definitely, buddy. Head across BlackJack Legacy Tabletop Gaming Group, and you'll find most of the folks that are in the chat tonight. They're all in there, and it's much easier to kind of get some comparisons and that as well. And Tony is saying, just use the player cards for reference, but generally wander away from them anyway due to happy accidents. Happy accidents are how all the best things happen, mate. They definitely are. And with that, we're coming up to kind of to 10:30 now. I'll be honest, folks, I've really enjoyed tonight. Who thought that doing a little bit of prep work and being prepared for a live chat would make it as fun and interesting as that? So, is there anything else I wanted to kind of chat about? Let's have a look on my list. Next week's topic at the minute, I'm not going to say what it is because I might change it to the fighting fantasy books now if I can pick one up between now and then. So I won't tell you what it is in case I change my mind, but I'll need to pick up one of those fighting fantasy books first to get that. So if I can get one from Amazon or something and get it delivered in time, that might be next month. That might be next Monday's live stream. I'm pretty excited about that. It's pretty cool, actually. I'm looking forward to that. The only other thing to give you a little bit of a shout out as well is to my Patreon. If anybody's enjoying the content I'm putting out, if you want to support the channel going forward, a little bit of kind of financial support helps me to buy more games and do more stuff, helps me attend kind of conventions, and also helps me support other kind of gaming events as well. A Patreon donation is very much appreciated. And so don't forget to use your link so you get Wonga. I can't use my own link. That's the problem. Because it's linked to my Amazon account, I can't use my own link to get money back from buying it. So yeah, while I'm talking about that, if anybody does shop on Amazon, all of my videos have a link through to Amazon on them, where basically it's my affiliate link. If you click on that, it takes you through to Amazon. If whatever you buy, you pay exactly the same price for it. It doesn't cost you any more, but Amazon kind of gives me a little kickback. I think it's like, let me think. I don't even think it's 5%. I think it's a tiny amount. Let me tell you how much I've earned from Amazon affiliate links since I've been doing it. Once you get to £25, you get the option to get that as a voucher, or if you want cash, you have to wait until you get to £50. I've just 2 months ago got qualified for my first £25 voucher, so I'm not making millions from affiliate links. But if you do go shopping on Amazon, and if you remember, because I know not everybody does, but if you click on the link, it does kind of give me a little donation to me as well, and it kind of you don't pay any more. Amazon give me a small commission, and it all goes towards kind of things like hotels for conventions and buying cameras and kind of all this kind of stuff. So yeah, much appreciated. So Steve is saying, night chaps, great show tonight, Andy, thanks. Tony is saying, and helpful, the Facebook group's helpful. Yes, that's right. Flying Mammal says, if you buy on Amazon, that's right, yeah. And Thomas says, brilliant show as ever, thanks Andy. And Christian says, thanks Andy. Night everyone. So with that, it is exactly 10:30. Thanks everyone for watching. Watch out for Keyforge review tomorrow night. I'd love for you to watch that and let me know what you think of it. Stay tuned to the channel. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.